Hey guys, it's G2 here,
Hey, now I'm your co-host Raptor.
and we're the Radio Riders.
Yeah, that's what we are. I forgot to say it. Oh well, we're rolling
We're
still.
going.
Don't cut. We're rolling with this.
Yes.
Yeah. So, mm,
So, I guess we should start off. Raptor,
yeah.
how was
Oh
your week?
boy, mediocre at best, and that's about as all I'm gonna say.
We've talked more than we talked outside. We do talk outside of this, guys. If you didn't know.
Mhm.
Um,
Long story short, all I'm gonna say is, Gio, you know how my week's been.
yes.
That's about it. That's all I'm saying. Now, how have you been, by the way?
I've been good. Pretty hype. We'll touch on that later. Um,
Yes, yes,
when I mean
yes.
later, I mean like probably in the next 5 minutes. But
Probably because we don't have much else to talk about. I don't think.
yeah. So first things first. Um, Releases wise, not much. Pretty slow week here in the week, like late end of January. Only notable things are SH Figure Arts Brain.
Yes, yes. Honestly, I saw a bunch of pics of that.
Yeah,
Looks really good. I gotta say.
the
Although
jet.
that might just
Yeah.
be pure bias because I just love that design.
Also, the Japanese photographers. I follow a couple. They definitely like show off the best parts of a figure, like in their photo shoots with all like the special, like, some of they make like custom sets for them, and like, they'll like add in smoke and stuff. So like, if you
Yeah,
haven't,
they go above and beyond. Honestly,
they do.
it's
It definitely inspires someone who collects more like role play stuff like me to start collecting more of the SH figure art side of things. But then when you get it and you're like, oh, that's right, there was skill involved in that picture.
mhm.
Moving on, Gashapon releases. Again, not much. The most notable thing is I think we got the amazing Coca Sauce key in GP form. It's
Hmm.
pretty alright. It's a typical GP key. It's also nice. I guess it's nice to have like a regular version of that key, like in the Gashapon style, and how they like downgrade it to like what the
Yeah, the Gashapon progress keys are kind of funky sometimes, especially with the more like what's the word I'm looking for?
the more upgrade, like
In yeah,
the like above base stuff, and that's like a constant, really. Like there's the Gashapon Extreme Memory, which is just like it's like a normal size memory, but like we know it as like the bird like X thing.
honestly, the Gashapon blah that memory, it's not the worst thing in the world. Honestly, I quite like it.
Yeah. Well, to be fair though, it appeared as that in like A to Z, Guy Memories of Fate. It was one of the 26 that uh, Eternal spawns like at the end of the movie for like that big fight.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, aside from that, Assault Wolf came out as a Gashapon. Same deal. It's a normal Gashapon, but like for Assault Wolf, and it looks weird because of it. But
Yeah,
you know,
those are always some of the funkier looking
but they're like
Gashapon items.
they're like they're such an oddity, and they're kind of a cursed image. They often like at least if you're like a Rider fan and you know what you're talking about, what things are supposed to be like, they kind of have like a weird cursed quality to them. Take for example
Oh
the
yeah.
Kachidoki Gashapon Lockseed from Gaim.
So take for example what was it, the Cosmic Switch.
Yeah,
Oof, that one's still.
you know, I'm a bit upset. Last year's not upset, but like trying to find the word for it. I'm not like upset, but like I do miss the fact that Geo's Gashapon release schedule was just like filled to the brim with like main rider, alternatives of like the main rider ride watches and like the non-main rider, main form ride watches, like any like miscellaneous form or like other riders. Because
Right.
we missed out on some truly. I kind of want to see. I kind of wanted to see how they would do how they a revive Goretsu and Shippu, Gashapon ride watch and like Trinity and like Go2, maybe even Grand. I would love to see how those would end up looking. But alas, I mean, it's not a bad thing because we got a lot of cool exclusive ride watches last year. But like as a
Yeah,
result,
definitely.
we miss out on like the truest, the most odd part of following releases. Anyway, moving on. That's all that was really released. I think an SIC figure may have been released. It might have been the Kuga one. I'm not entirely sure on that though.
Honestly, I don't really follow SIC super closely. But
Same. I just typically follow them because I like to see what they do with like designs that they haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as news goes, earlier this week, the next issue of Telebikun was released, and we got images for the next month of 01, as per usual. And it is pretty promising looking, is what I would say.
Yes.
We are on the heels of our next 01 form in the form of Metal Cluster Hopper.
Everybody jump.
And it looks absolutely amazing. I'm really excited to see it in action. And
Yeah,
judging,
I adore the suit so far. I just can't wait to see more.
its abilities seem fun, and we're gonna get to see like Faucer get his butt kicked finally. It's end of Faucer month, like where they just like completely show off and shell out to like the newest rider, and then we get, it's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be like a stomp battle, from what I can tell. Like there's like several like pictures of just like Faucer attacking and 01 is just standing there, not even flinching. It does not matter.
Metal Cluster Hopper. That's. Oh man, I really can't wait. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like from what we've seen of it alone, it seems like it could be a really interesting form and something that we haven't really even seen very much of at all.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm just kind of biased because I just like shiny things. Really, if I'm blunt with it, I just like shiny things.
I've seen people rip on the key itself, but I think the key kind of looks cool.
Same.
I like how I like how it's like it looks odd like by itself, like with because there's like that bit that's like extended upwards, right?
Yeah.
But like when you're done with the henshin, you like flip over like the hopper, like the bit of like I don't know what part of it. I think it's like the back leg section, and it reveals like a bunch of mini grasshoppers, hinting at what like one of the form's abilities is going to be, which is probably like a swarm. It can control like a small swarm of like robotic grasshoppers. I spent a lot of time looking at the images closely.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And as far as when it's going to happen, you can actually see next week's raid in the images. So it'll be like it'll be debuting like a week from now, or like the next week after this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second half of next arc is
episode,
what. Yeah.
I won't be next episode. It'll be the episode after that.
Yeah. So like
yeah.
when they're wrapping up the next arc, as well as we also get a sneak peek at the raid after that, which is which uses the storming penguin key, and that design looks pretty decent, but like the pictures are never too good. So I'm gonna wait until we get like previews, like the preview of that episode or like the actual episode itself to give my thoughts on that design.
Right.
What do you think of what will be transpiring soon, Raptor?
I'm kind of interested in seeing, especially this new form. I'm really curious to see what's going to be happening with that.
Yeah.
As for the overall next few episodes, it could be very interesting, but I'm not 100% certain on any possible direction they're going to go with.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
There's a lot they could go. There's a lot of different directions they could go from here, and what they want to choose to go with is really their choice in the long run.
Yeah.
Now, opinions on what ends up happening are definitely going to be, as opinions are, different. And honestly, I think at this point, we've been watching this long. We just got to chill out and go for the ride. See what comes up next. I'm kind of interested in what they give us.
Yeah. With that said, I guess we're just gonna jump right into that was terrible. We're gonna go right into the next our review of this week's episode, which is episode 20. I forgot to grab the name of the episode. But yeah, we are on episode 20 of 01. Time flies.
Yep, it's 20 episodes. That's
I apologize. I feel like I should have been more prepared. Episode 20, that is 1,000% the best house.
Ah, yes.
My bad, guys. So, what are we haven't talked about this between each other like usual, but what are your overall thoughts on this episode, Raptor?
Honestly, I don't really have any. A majority of the episode, honestly, when I was watching it, I just kind of thought, this is okay.
Yeah.
Like I said last episode, if you guys haven't watched that, go watch that. That's basically my opinions on the shows, like, on a lot of the episodes recently. Outside of, like, the Thouser debut, because Thouser is amazing. I love Thouser. But a lot of episodes, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, it's this like competition arc that like we're only the second round. We're only like through 2 of the rounds, and I just want it to be over already.
Because didn't they say it'd be the best of 5?
Yeah, so like if
that means either Thouser's winning the next round, and we're just gonna go into a hostile takeover arc.
Yeah. Or it could be extended longer, and that could be like signaled with the showing up of Metal Cluster.
Right.
And honestly, if that's the case, and it looks like it might be because we do see another raid, I can only assume it's another Zaya spec like representative. We could be in for at least a couple more of these arcs, and I'm done. I'm kind of, I'm like a really positive person when it comes to my opinions about like things. Like I don't mind too much, but like I am kind of feeling the wear and tear and like the down, like the general consensus is that, from what I've been able to see of people that like I follow, is that this arc is very slow and boring.
Honestly, I think the craziest part is that we've only gotten through 2 of the potential 5 different challenges.
Yeah.
And it's been a month.
It's
been a month of this.
I'm hoping that maybe they switch to like a... So like we so far, including this episode, we've been on like a 2 episode cap, like mini arc for each one.
Mm-hmm.
So if that continues, we could be doing this for another month and a half, basically.
Yeah.
So we'd probably be in we'd be in like late March by the time we were done with it. If there's not a final showdown round.
Which, for those who are counting,
Dan forbid that happens.
That would leave us on episode 26 before we have anything outside of this arc happen. Actually, no, scratch that. Episode 26 would be the last episode of this whole challenge arc. So really, we'd have to wait until episode 27 before we have something outside of it actually happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah.
And honestly, I think part of the issue here is, I think, an issue that I've noticed in other forms of media too. The best example I can think of being, honestly, the best example I can think of at the moment being JoJo, because that happened recently, actually. Without any spoilers, though, there was a really long arc where it just had the character running from something for a while. Which, if you're reading the manga after all those chapters came out, it's fine. But if you're one of those people who are reading it monthly, because the chapters only come out monthly, that's basically 4 or 5 months that of just one arc of just one character running.
Yeah.
Those aren't really enjoyable. That isn't the most enjoyable for you, because you're not interested. And it's taking months before you can actually see something else.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point, honestly. That might just me being pessimistic at the moment for various reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, honestly, this whole arc is kind of okay.
Yeah. As far as like how the actual episode went, the general synopsis is there's a rich customer. I think he was like a business owner. I don't think they specified. He is looking for a house. Obviously, this falls under the guidelines of the competition. And he's willing to shell out up to like, did they say like 150,000 or something like that?
500,000.
Oh, okay, it was 500,000. And he wants a house that, his wife just passed away, and he's mainly looking for a house that him and the rest of his family and their kids can all come together and, be a family. So a homely, a nice family-oriented home. And so Smile picks a small house, fixer-upper, as you may. It's like a small cabin, a little bit more warm feeling. It's smaller and it's on the cheaper side. I think it was like 15,000. So compared to the 500,000 cap, it's not much. It's cheaper. And then like our opposing salesman, who I just do not feel like remembering the name of right now, he obviously goes for the profit goal of it and goes for like a 490,000 home.
Yep.
And it's like this big mansion. It's very spacious. And for some reason, I don't know, I guess he was feeling insecure or something. So he naturally, before the house can be fixed up, he like bullies the fixer, Humagear, that was gonna do the house for Smile and Aruto.
That made me so mad.
Yeah, I was very upset.
I was irrationally angry. That fixer didn't do anything. Like, he was not even involved in the contest outside of fixing a freaking house.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this?
Naturally,
being an asshole.
He bullies him pretty heavily. Humagear goes berserk through a negative singularity. He destroys the house almost completely. Later on, they get like they reproduce 5 of the same guy, and they all like form a home building Sentai and fix the house.
Man, that was the greatest.
That was adorable. They were even kind of color coded. They weren't like full Sentai colors, but they were distinguishable, which I found funny. Outside of that, Pretty typical. Um, the home that ends up getting picked is, surprise, surprise, the small house. Are
Can't you tell by the tone of his voice that he is genuinely surprised and not at all being sarcastic?
yeah, I kind of saw it coming. But what?
I
Yeah,
think
and
everyone
naturally
did.
did they fight after that, or was it final fight then house reveal, or house reveal final
House
fight?
reveal, final fight,
Yeah,
because
I need to write better
insert
notes.
guy here was genuinely upset that he
Mm-hmm.
lost and jealous and all that. But then it
Yeah.
turns out he didn't even lose
Yeah.
because BS stipulation,
They sold
Smile
more.
didn't, yeah,
I
insert guy here still sold more,
I
so he
think
still won.
I think they flipped the rules because I remember like in the last episode they mentioned like the amount of houses sold, but in this episode the way it was worded, at least the translation was worded, it made it sound like they were going for monetary growth as well.
Maybe both.
It maybe both
Because
were a
they kept
factor,
going
but
on the whole if a president that cannot generate profit is
not a
something.
good president apparently. I don't particularly believe in that, but like hey,
You know, whatever.
yeah,
You win some, you lose some, I guess.
I guess
That is
so.
the least important part of the whole episode, honestly.
We'll get
But
we'll get to the most important part once we wrap up the rest of it.
yeah,
Um,
um,
I also
yeah,
I took.
I'm just frustrated with that whole episode,
I
though.
think we're both starting to take notes um, while we watch the episodes so that we can get our thoughts together better for moments like this. But I noticed that I think Aruto might have toughened up a little bit in this episode because he actually like went for it when he was fighting the whale raid. Like he was a little bit sympathetic and he was like not trying a little bit, but like he kind of once he got more aggressive, the raid did. I noticed that Aruto shut that down immediately.
Yeah.
So I guess that's good. At least we're not getting stop fighting. What are you doing? Clamoring, like hugging like the Magir and like the raids and stuff. Because that was kind of it. I hope they don't continue it. Because it's a little, like we said last episode, we feel that it's a bit out of Aruto's character from before this point. So,
It
yeah.
doesn't make sense in context.
No, it
But,
doesn't.
you know.
Yeah. Now, the most interesting part of the episode, what I wrote, word for word, Vulcan completely losing it. Hearing things, like, that was creepy.
Yeah, I'm really curious in what's going on with that, honestly.
Yeah. It's obviously Bo.
Yeah, whatever they are, whoever they are,
Yeah.
But for now, let's just call him Bo, because we
Yeah.
genuinely don't actually know officially.
Yeah. And, like, leading him to, like, the warehouse and, like, disappearing. We don't even know if that was real or not. Maybe Vulcan's losing it. I don't know.
Likes to believe that he really is just losing his shit. I think that'd be funny.
He might. Because, like, when you think about it, his whole motive for the past, like, 20 years, he's finished it. All of his life up to that point was so focused on taking down Metsubo Jinrai. And once he's done it, it escapes him, but he doesn't know what to do because 3 of the 4 members are dead and the third one's basically a ghost. Well, I mean, like, one's captured. My bad. Hirobi's captured, and then, like, Bo, we can only assume that this cloaked figure is Bo, is just, like, ghosting around and hasn't been traced yet.
Yo, wouldn't it be funny if Bo was actually Fua?
I thought about that when I was watching the episode, actually.
Like, it just occurred to me, though, because, like, you're going to tell me that someone who dedicated his entire life to doing one thing wouldn't create that same thing he's trying to stop the moment he finishes his job?
Yeah,
Like literally, that was his whole life's purpose, and
he
then it's
became
just
the
gone.
captain of an elite police force for this,
Mhm.
you know, for the sole purpose of just destroying all human gear that like act up. And once he's done it and he's eliminated the source of that problem, at least at first, I wouldn't be surprised if he lost it.
Yeah, because that's going from rageful vengeance and all the way down to no more life goal.
Yeah,
That is a shock right there for any person, honestly.
yeah. I'm wondering what they got to be like, because I noticed Vulcan's kind of stepped out of the limelight over the past couple episodes, so they must have something planned for him soon outside of like probably related to like a super form, possible final form only situation. With like a good chunk of character development or like, you know, other like story bits attached to it. Excuse me. So I'm really curious on where that's headed. It's definitely creepy.
Yeah, he's
Really,
definitely had a bad time.
yeah. So overall, episode thoughts standard. Really, it's just the wrapping up of another arc, another round, right?
Yeah, it's the end of another round in an arc I don't really care about.
Yeah, I just want to get out of this. Metal Cluster will probably liven it up next week again, but like I don't know.
More than anything, I just want to hear his jingle. That's I
I'm
want to
ready.
hear it out loud.
I'm ready for the henshin. I'm ready for the jingle. I'm ready for all of it. Also, that new blade looks pretty cool as well.
Yeah, and I like how it has a progress key like
Yeah, it's called like
fake
the
heart.
Hopper blade, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's an
I just
it
think it's cool how it's got that fake progress piece like
it
attached
might
to it.
it might be an actual progress key though.
It might be. All I
Yeah,
know is we can use it to connect it to the attached caliber, so that's
through
great.
the pro guys slot on that. I noticed.
Yeah,
This is a Psycho Jirade situation.
it it literally is, huh? I didn't
Yeah,
even think about
it's
that.
just a different style of sword, basically. Anyway, all right, moving on from that very meh episode to something that we both really, and I stress this, really, really enjoyed when we viewed it. Over Quartzer, Kamen Geo the movie, Over Quartzer was subbed after being
And
released
we
on DVD.
watched it.
And we,
Also,
yeah,
wait, before we say anything more,
yeah,
if you haven't watched it, stop. There will be spoilers.
yeah.
Duh.
I feel
Go
like
watch the
yeah,
freaking movie. It
we're
was
discussing it.
so good. All right, have you guys left yet?
All right,
Wait, let me rephrase that. If you guys do leave to watch the movie, don't forget to come back, please.
yes.
Please.
We'd love to hear your opinions as well. Remember, comment if you want to. This is a conversation. We want to have fun here and just talk Rider because if you're here, you probably love it, and we're here because we definitely love it. Moving on.
Yes. Wait, actually, that's a good time to segue into our Q&A segment, where we talk about the questions we got from last video. Now,
I
as for the
forgot.
questions, number one, there were no questions.
There were no questions. Okay. We will. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'll answer them. We will answer them in the next podcast. All right. Now on to what I consider the main attraction of this episode of Radio Riders. Geo over Quartzer was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Um, like, I cannot, I don't think this can be understated how good that movie was. Like, not even just fun, because yes, it was fun, it was enjoyable, and honestly, that's the core thing a Rider movie should be. Matter of fact, I think a lot of movies follow that, where primarily I should be able to like watching the movie like that. And not only was this movie that, it was, in my opinion at least, it was super well written, interesting, all that. I just genuinely enjoyed every part of that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Like,
said
man,
one of my notes was that it was a very, at least the first half, like the more like the drive, Sengoku. No, oh wait, that doesn't sound right. Like the Nobunaga like period part of the movie was a lot. It was really wacky and a lot of fun. So it was more of like a episode of the show of Geo than anything,
yeah,
which I do not mind.
yeah, because I like Geo.
We both, by the way, we both really. I guess we should say this before we continue further on. We both really liked Geo. Apparently, contrary to the popular opinion of the show.
You know me. I don't. I am the unpopular opinion, man. That it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like seriously, it was so good. I love it.
Okay, so it was very silly, which is fun, and I noticed there's a lot of like, I guess this will tie into what we talk later. There's like a lot of fourth wall breaks, which I found kind of funny. I wasn't expecting so many.
Where's your costume? If I change, the viewers will be confused.
Oh man.
Oh man. Where do we start?
I don't even. It's kind of hard. It's definitely harder to review like a full length Rider movie as opposed to just like a 23-minute episode. But we're gonna try. The 01 intro was very ominous.
01, 01.
The chanting they made Aruto /01 out to be like really, really intimidating. A month or two before the series actually debuted.
And is he intimidating?
No, he's not intimidating at all. But man, that intro.
I'll give him credit. He is slightly more intimidating than any Twinkie I've ever eaten.
Fair enough.
Wait. That I hope that full sentence came out without any cuts, because otherwise that would sound strange. Anyway, unimportant. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, the action was really good. A lot of fun action scenes. The whole like battle like with Gates acting as like the fake Nobunaga. Against the other army, led by Zamonas, was so funny. It's kind of like it was very exciting as well because there's like that one bit where Gates like picks up the war banner and starts swinging it around in rider form, trying to rally the army, fight.
It was so good.
It's really good. We've said nothing, but it's really good. I am sorry, guys.
Look, here's my only criticism with the entire movie right here, okay? It was too short.
I think aren't they
keep going?
Aren't they like an hour long? Because aren't they like an hour long because they're like double featured with like the Sentai movies?
Oh yeah.
I don't like obviously
I don't
we don't
know actually.
We don't live in
I
Japan,
don't even
obviously.
remember how long the movie actually was.
It's an hour
because I really liked it.
It's an hour long.
Ah.
Yeah. So like I don't know. And that yeah, but there's also like the second half of the movie, which is like I'd argue like the actual movie part of it, because like the first half is very much what I imagine was like a scrapped plot for like a more drive focused arc. I mean, it's got all like the bells, like not bells, all like the it's got all the I was gonna say bells and whistles, but it's got all the like the trademark stuff of like the of like the first few arcs of Geo, where it was more like, rider, like another rider in the past, and then like a watch creation, and then like the entirety of that rider's history was deleted from that point onward, and they wouldn't have their memory, and that happens with like Go, because Go doesn't like know that he was
Yeah,
Mach.
yeah, but that's different though.
Yeah, I know it's like there's differences, but I'm not saying exact. I'm saying like it was modified, maybe.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can agree with that then.
Apart from modified, I did take note of this, but with the whole Waz being, betraying and like, you know, uh, not being the Waz that we knew him as, it made me think, because I heard like a little bit after Geo ended, we were like in an interview, we learned that Waz was initially supposed to be the like final, like the main villain of the TV show, but the cast, like everyone was loving the dynamic between Gates, Sogo, and him so much that they didn't want to go ahead with that and change it. So I'm wondering if that part of his character was repurposed for this movie.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that, honestly.
Yeah, if you
Although I can't see, I can't see Waz being a final villain. I just love him too much. He's just too great.
yeah, I think, but like
Like,
the thing is though, it's like I think like we can't see him, but like we're seeing a heavily modified. What we saw in like definitely at least the second half of Geo was like probably a heavily like modified version of Waz, because like Waz
oh,
definitely
yeah.
had a like, especially in that like those early episodes, like he definitely had like a um an intrigue and mystery around him. He clearly knew how to fight. What with him like
Never
shoving off
explained
in another rider.
that scarf was also never explained in the show.
Yeah, like it's it. I definitely, when I was watching it, and like the whole plot with like I said, Waz being like, "Oh, I'm actually a Quartzer. You're a fake king. This is my real king. This is who I was talking about the entire time." You could definitely get like this isn't this was what was planned initially, possibly, obviously modified for like a movie plot, with a different set of characters. Um, One thing I also noticed, I kind of like the mirroring that they did, where like we had Nobunaga and like the a fake Nobunaga being in Gates, and then we had a fake Sogo being the fake cover up for Sogo, aka Issa or Barksa. I did kind of like the historical mirroring of that.
Yeah, that was really cool, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, speaking of the Overquartzer riders in general, holy crap. Those transformations were some of my favorite ever, honestly.
Yeah, there was a lot of love put into all three of them, like with the references to the riders that those three are like based on. They replicated like the henshins of those riders like as much as they could while falling in line with the Geo henshin formula as well.
Right. And that's honestly something that I really appreciated.
Yeah.
Especially with Zamonis.
I think Zamonis had like
Yes.
he definitely has like the cleanest henshin, and I want to say the best, but then again I haven't watched Black RX or the three Showa movie or Heisei Showa movies.
Well, I can tell you, in terms of references and whatnot,
They were spot on.
they were spot on, beautiful. It was great.
The only reason I say that is like
my own personal bias.
Yeah,
Zamonis was my favorite because
guess,
I love Amazons.
I guess I guess it's because like out of those riders, I've only seen the first season of Amazons out of like Jay, Zo, Shin, and Black RX. So like I had more of a greater appreciation for that henshin. But I'm sure when I do go and watch the three movie riders and the Black RX series, I'll probably, and I rewatch this movie later on, I'm sure I'll like fall in love with their henshins the way I did with Zamonis's.
Right. Because, man, boy, did I fall in love with, I don't know what the Shinji Zo one was called.
Zonjus.
Right, Zonjus.
Yeah.
I love Zonjus's transformation. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I like the little reference to Jay with his hand and
Yeah.
all that.
And I think the rest of Henshin is like from mainly probably Zo, or is that the O? Or,
Yeah,
and there's
most of that
probably a
was Zo.
J in there as well. A little bit, aside from like the J hand signal. I know that all of the Shin in him went to his mannerisms and most of his undersuit layout.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy with. I kind of like that he was like a feral rider.
I'm a fan of feral riders.
Yeah. I was going to say it's kind of weird that Zamonis didn't have the feral parts of him, but then I remembered that he's a combination of... I guess, now I'm thinking about it. Well, he's a combination of Omega, Alpha, and Neo, but 2 of those are feral.
Which 2?
Omega is definitely more feral than Alpha. Yeah. Alpha's really controlled. I don't know about Neo, though. I think Neo may be more...
No, Neo is super clean cut.
Is he? Yeah.
I mean, he has a freaking sword.
Yeah. Although I think...
I keep thinking about that, and that's still weird.
I don't know. I've only watched, like, a small portion of Amazon Season 2. So, yeah, that might be it.
Honestly...
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue it. I just, I've been busy with, like, school.
Same.
I'm sure you have, too.
If, like... the big sad. But yeah, it was great. I think this is a good time for me to mention it. 2 things actually.
Yeah.
1, before the movie, I absolutely could not stand the Geo Omaform suit.
And he also couldn't. I remember you saying that you weren't a big fan of the 3 movie riders either, right?
Yeah, specifically
probably Zonjus.
Yeah, Zonjus specifically I did not care for either.
I think he's definitely the roughest looking suit out of the 3.
I'll take that back. I'm protecting my boy's Zonjus now.
You know what? He's cool, but I will say though, he looks better without like the trash bag cape that he has.
Okay, yeah, I still don't get why the heck they did that, but you know what?
I think it's because the other 2 had did Barks even have a cape of any kind? No. So why'd they give him that?
It was
Zamonis had a cape.
Why'd they give Zamonis a cape? Actually,
you know what? I just thought about it. Barks is like the king, and those 2 are like normal Quartzer members, so that might be it. They do wear like the robes in their normal attire.
Wait, then why doesn't Waz?
Because the suit was probably designed before the plot.
Never mind, I completely get you.
Oh, and also Waz's armor and powers are from an alternate timeline as well.
That is also true. Anyway, though, yeah, I was gonna say I absolutely could not stand Geo Omaform's suit before now. Mm-hmm. And after watching the movie, I gained a whole new appreciation for it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what changed my opinion. It just looks.
It might have been the action scene, because the action scene at the end, which was 20 minutes, by the way, I checked.
yeah, that was nice, by the way.
It was cool. All the cameos and shout outs throughout the film were really nice. And No Rider giving Sogo his pep talk, speech in jail was really nice.
Oh, that was No Rider.
You didn't know that was No Rider?
I was trying to figure out who that was because I forgot. But
Yeah,
I was like, man, this guy's funky and cool. I like him.
it's funny because they play like Ichigo noises and like they purposefully make it look like it's the real Ichigo and like the shadows, and then they reveal it to be No Rider. No Rider being a parody of Kamen Rider from like the '80s, if you didn't know. Um,
Uh,
uh,
hey, I'm not, that was funny.
it was hilarious, and he's like, "Oh well, you may have been a fake rider, but like No Rider is like was expected to become what they did, but they still did it. But people like me, we never got a chance to be real Kamen Riders,
Right.
because No Rider's a parody. I don't know. It was like I don't know how potent of a message that was, but it certainly motivated Sogo to stop
I think I get
sulking.
what he's trying to say.
He's definitely saying like, "Hey, you may have been the fake cover up, but what you did was real, and what you fought for was real."
You may only be a fake replacement, but at least you're something.
Yeah,
You
unlike
could be
me and
nothing.
others.
Yeah.
Um, so that was okay. That was pretty funny. Again, playing to the silliness of the overall plot. Shouldn't take it serious. Um,
Speaking of not taking it seriously, the
let's talk.
message of the freaking movie.
Let's. The message of the movie is such a. It's kind of a middle finger to people who like get angry about like the smaller things, and I'm talking like I'm not saying like criticizing. I'm talking like get like um irrationally angry about them.
No, Gio, let's
Yeah,
be honest. You know who they're really pointing at.
yeah,
Literally everyone who didn't like Geo because insert thing not making sense. Or
yeah.
time travel not making sense. Or blah 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 blah. Because literally all the Quartzers were show enthusiasts who didn't like how Heisei's timeline got screwed up. That's literally all that happened. That's all their whole motivation was.
So basically, the motivation they word it as, look at it. Like I guess in the words of I don't know. Like I want his name is Sogo, but like the only distinction I've seen is like they capitalize all the words in Sogo. We're just
So
gonna say Issa.
just shout the name.
No, we're just gonna say Issa because that's who plays him. Issa's like pointing out like none of it looks like a coherent path. Like I don't. I guess we got two different. We got two. No, we got the same message, but like in different ways. In a way. Have
Yeah.
you always think? Did you always think it was talking about like the plot of Geo, or do you think it was talking about like the overall Heisei series in general?
Oh, definitely Heisei in general.
Okay. Okay. Never mind. I presumed. My bad.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I get that a part of it was definitely 01. They were talking. I mean, blah.
No, you're fine.
Geo.
Yeah.
I
I
keep
think.
thinking Z and then an O and like 01. I don't
Zero.
know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there was definitely part of it that was talking mainly about
Geo's
Geo,
planet.
especially how they were talking about how Sogo went on a whole rant about how it wasn't your job to force a bunch of riders together when they were perfectly beautiful on their own. And honestly, though, I think that's the whole theme with the movie. Like, we didn't have, like, there was no reason to really force all these riders together and whatnot.
Yeah, it's
But
also like
we
a
did.
jab at like continuity. Although I do have like a couple problems with it. Like that's more of my problem with like the end of Geo as well. Because like at the end of Geo, they make it very clear that these riders were never meant to be in the same world, and they separate them. But there's like several instances where they definitely do exist. At least a couple exist in the same world.
Right, and that's actually also talked about by the Quartzers.
Is it?
Yeah,
What they say?
because they actually admitted to being the ones who brought everything together for Geo to start collecting all the powers and whatnot.
Hmm.
Literally, that's another thing that I think is funny about the movie. literally, if you listen to anything the Quartzers say, almost every time they talk, it's them retroactively filling in a plot hole with a detail that makes genuine sense. Like the Quartzers saying, "Yeah, we're the ones who brought all the universes together, and yeah, it made the timelines a bit funkier for a while." Like when you put, and then you look at that and compare all these different worlds where they shouldn't technically coexist, and yet they do. Then you point to, hey, it was the Quartzers again.
Fair enough.
No.
So basically, this movie was a big retcon for like all the previous 20, including Geo.
Yes.
Wonderful. It's such a final flip off to like, it's such a final like middle bird to like that whole situation. For the like the send off the Heisei era, I find that hilarious.
Right.
But like overall, the message of the movie of being like, every single rider may not look, especially like from like I'd say, I want to say like Hibiki onward. No, because there's like but everybody like every Heisei rider is so different, and like they aren't coherent on the surface, but really it's a beautiful chaos no matter what you think of like certain seasons, because each season is to be enjoyed on its own, and we just love the whole series. And God, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling on my words. But
No,
like we love the entire franchise, even if like X8 looks nothing like what the preconceived notion of some people's idea of what a rider looks like is.
literally, XA doesn't look anything like Ghost or Build, which look equally Kamen Rider in comparison to like Hibiki. And
Yeah.
then Dano also just doesn't fit in sometimes, and
Yeah.
freaking tire. And
The point is,
it's wild.
It's all to sell toys, but at the heart of it, it's a beautiful chaos, and we love it for that. And that's what this movie is trying to say.
Yeah, the whole movie is partly telling you, it's okay that, doesn't really make sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I think the best way to describe it, here's the best way I can describe it. No one asked you to compare them to each other. I think that's actually a lot, like almost a line in Over Quartzer. Like, no one asked you to try to bring everything together.
Yeah, Sogo yells it at like I think it's like the end speech before they like before there's like the 20th Heisei rider kick against Barks.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
he was shouting at Barks like, "Look, no one asked you to force everything together to make sense. Just let each rider be its own thing. Like let it be a story on its own. Like it's fine."
And this was really capstoned by like that rider kick where they all like formed the 20th rider kick symbol. I'm getting chills thinking about it. And like when they're flying, they had their series logo like kind of edited like over them. It's just it was a very like nice way to cap it off. I feel with like and all of them kicking in different spots and in different ways ended up creating the words Heisei on like the billboard I guess he was holding. Yeah. It's just it made me very happy as a Rider fan, the movie, even if the plots don't make sense or they don't line up or the suits are too wacky. There's something in every season, or there's a season for everyone to enjoy, and I think that's the greatest takeaway that anybody can really take from the movie.
Right.
I
definitely agree to it. I think I agree with that statement, honestly. Yeah.
You're gonna like what you're gonna like. You're gonna dislike what you're gonna dislike. But at the end of the day, we're all Rider fans, and we have more similarities than we have differences.
Yeah.
Also, to gush again, the final attack, the final fight with like all the like riders popping out of, like you had Comic Book Kuga, you had G, you had the Go Riders, you had Kachidoki Zangetsu from the stage play, you had like Brain, all of them attack, like coming and defending people.
Brain showing up and using his poison hands
It
was
was
just the
so
most
good.
amazing thing. I loved it.
Honestly, at the end of the day, the movie just, I don't know, the movie just makes me really happy. Like, every little scene is so much fun.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way,
And
any
that's,
other way to describe the movie, honestly. It's
and,
just so...
fittingly enough, that's what I wrote. Overall, good movie. Shouldn't take it seriously. It's just a fun movie. That's what, like, my final, like, notes are.
Good notes, I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have to say about the movie. I think if you go into it with like, depending on how you go into the movie, you're really gonna come out with a different like opinion on it. But I think really the best mindset is, and I guess this could be said for Geo as well. I'm not saying like Geo is like the most perfect season ever because it has, and this goes for the movie as well. But like, I'm not saying it's the perfect season or it's like amazing. It has no flaws. It has flaws. It has its flaws. It doesn't make sense. The time travel outside of Quartzer's like retcons of it, the time travel doesn't make sense.
Hey, they already told you it doesn't have to make sense.
Like, if you want, like, critically, it may not be, some of the characters you may not like some of the plots, you may not like the overall plot, you may not like the execution of certain suits, specifically the early armors, but I think both the movie and the show had its heart in the right place, which was celebrating 20 uninterrupted years. The longest Rider has been on air consecutively and still going as we speak since, I don't know, like, since like, I guess, after the big break in the 90s outside of the three movies. It was more of like I said, if, it may have its issues, but it was a big celebration for a continuous year, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
I know I
think
stumbled.
That's really a major takeaway.
Yeah. Here. I know I stumbled over my words a little bit. I apologize. Sometimes I speak without thinking. Continue, Raptor.
No, I was gonna say, like, that's really the huge takeaway. Have fun. Shut up and have fun.
And if you want to analyze things and that's how you consume your Rider, I'm not going to stop you.
You know what? No. I'm going to straight up tell you. This show started with a person who was kidnapped by super Nazis, turned into a cyborg powered by insects, riding a motorcycle as he fought through these legions of cyborg Nazis. And if you enjoy this show and you're gonna treat it any more seriously than how it's presented at face value, then honestly, I think we need to take a step back and understand. It's still a children's show to sell toys. Stop analyzing it like it's the newest movie from Stanley Kubrick. It's not that serious, and it doesn't really go that deep. It's something to watch and enjoy and have fun with. If you want to analyze it, sure, go ahead, but you can't forget that at the core, it's still a show for children on Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings or whatever day it was for them, just to enjoy and to market toys and for crying out loud, I can't stress this enough. It started with freaking super Nazis. I mean, like, I don't like, as I've been trying to communicate with a lot of people, yes, you can take it seriously sometimes, and yes, it can have serious tones.
It does, but that.
At the core of it all, it's not the most serious thing, and that's okay. Not everything needs to be deep and profound and mean something. I don't know. That's just me going on a weird rant,
We went
honestly.
from reviewing over Quartzer to questioning why we enjoy Ryder.
I mean, honestly, that's the thing with over Quartzer.
It does bring that
It
up.
makes you really think, like, what makes Ryder fun? What makes Ryder enjoyable? Hmm.
Is it the suits? Is it the fighting? Is it the humor? Is it the gimmickiness of it? Who knows? But we
The
like
answer
it.
is yes.
We like it for all those reasons. And you may have your favorites. You may have your infamous picks, but they're all common riders, is what
Right.
I guess I would say. I don't know. I said this a second ago anyway.
Right. And yeah, we like Ryder, and we like you guys.
If you're listening,
So thanks for tuning in. It's been fun.
it has been.
Now for the regular plugs.
Um,
Follow us on
yeah.
Facebook. No,
Follow us on
Twitter.
Twitter. Our Twitter, both of our Twitters are linked on our homepage. Both me and Raptors. Once again, if you have questions, please, if you enjoyed the show, comment it. Start discussing with other fans if they are actually watching.
Tell everyone how much of a piece of shit I am for having a different opinion. I love that. No, really, I do.
Once again, this is G2.
Yeah. This is Raptor, and before we sign off, I once again must plug Samurai Flamenco. Go watch that anime.
Again?
So, yes, I'm plugging it again. Okay.
You know what? Fair enough.
It's Toku related. Okay.
I gotta watch that still. Anyway, this is G2.
And this is Raptor.
And we're signing off. See you next week, guys.
Cheeseburgers.